Sorry, I got an itch somewhere I don't want you guys to see. Okay. Hey YouTubers. Let me fix this to where you can see me better. I hope you guys can see me good. I don't know if you can or not, but we are gonna read my paranormal books. I might do 2 chapters on this, I might not, I don't know, on this video, so depends on how much megabytes I have on my phone. Okay. My profile on my username on this writing site is Kit Rain Yokai, okay? So, the book is called Kit Rain Yokai's Paranormal Experiences, Book 1, Incubus and Human Ghost Encounters. So, if my phone will cooperate. Come on, go to the part I want. This writing site is being a bitch. They updated this app to this site, and the site sucks. At times, the updates, they don't do the updates real well. Sorry, I gotta turn off my TV. If you see a reflection on my glasses, that's the book from this. So, okay. Like I said in my last video, it says there's a chapter that says about the author. And it has me wearing makeup and my hair style different than it is now. A while back. And different glasses. So, it'll say my real name. But I am not saying my real name on here. On YouTube. Because I don't want my real name being said. So, yeah. So we will say Norihime Yumi or Stray. Okay? And my hair is a mess. You can tell. My hair is always unruly. And I can't help it. Because it's naturally fucking curly and crazy. So this is the chapter about me. Like I said in my last video. After the about the author chapter. There's gonna be chapters. A lot of chapters. Where I'm confused who's who or what. But this about the author chapter says which ghost is who and what. So that's because I didn't edit the rest of this first book. So you will get confused when I read chapters. That may be confusing, yeah. Like I said in my last video. So here we go. My real name is Norihime Yumi. I grew up in Kansas in a town called Hutchinson. But call me Stray. Well, it says call me Stray or Norihime Yumi. I like to be called Stray or Norihime Yumi. I didn't want to say my real name because I don't want people to know my real name, okay, guys? You may have heard that our courthouse is haunted by a woman, and our library is haunted by a former librarian. Okay, I wrote this book when I was in Kansas, and also the second book. So, all is true, you may not know, but ghosts do exist among us. Demons as well, including sex demons and angels. There are things in this world not yet explainable, like my first encounter with these such creatures. I was skeptical. Sorry, I'm itching. I'm having allergy issues. I was skeptical. Sorry, I'm stuttering. I stutter a lot. I was skeptical, but the more research I did, the more I learned of my own. I said medium abilities, but we will say gifts. I learned of my own gifts to sense ghosts, not see or hear them, to sense their energy, whether they are angry or sad, to see them in digital camera photos. That happens rarely, okay? Rarely, very rarely. And to realize I put off my own energy or ki, I call it, which attracts these beings. I also get visions and future-telling dreams, and I have dreams about my past lives. Yes, I was reincarnated several times. My ancestor is William Wallace, who fought the British King to save his Scottish and Irish brethren. But he died long before his courage helped his brethren save his people from calamity. After he died by torture, his brethren fought against the king and won the battle, saving William's people. Even after death, his courage and his dreams to free his people lived on. I believe my ancestor had gifts. I have no control of my abilities. They act on their own accord. A vision will pop in my head while I'm walking or I am playing a video game like Pokemon. Pokemon is my favorite game. At this time, when I'm writing this, my dog was alive. Now she's not. I have a small Inkobiter who lives with me, a Pomeranian Chihuahua mix Oreo, and I was living alone at the time, who is very gentle and sweet. But when young, maybe 4 or 5, I used to see the dead. But I have blocked that ability out due to demons would torment me. So I bid you farewell in the story of my experiences from 2014 to 2015. There'll be a book 2 when 2016 rolls around the corner. Certain chapters I may sound confused of which spirit is who or what, which spirit is which. Evil creatures in a home I lived in. This experience happened when I was 13, okay? So, in 2014 to 2015 was the time I just got onto this website and started writing my experiences. So, yeah. So I count them as being told in that year. Those 2 years. Chapter 1, Stray's First Experience and the Awakening. It all started on my 13th birthday on January the 4th day, years after I blocked out my abilities, which may have become unsealed from me blocking them out. I've always known I was not very sociable all my life, only having maybe 2 or 1 friends. I fucked up. Where was I? I always knew I was different than regular humans. I always felt their emotions starting when I was 13 on that fateful day. Several times in my childhood, I could see dead people, but I blocked it out. When I was 5, I did have a near-death encounter, drowning. I'm not sure about how long I died, but I died for 3 to 5 minutes and was brought back by emergency personnel. The day of my birthday started normal, but in the home we lived in, I would sense weird energy on that day, like it was very negative or not nice. It would confuse me when I had seen shadows dart in my room. As I left for school, I made sure my room was tidy, making sure my movies were stacked on the shelf with my books below the movies. I shut my wooden door. There's a lot of spelling errors, because I was using a freaking BlackBerry at the time to write this. I shut my wooden door with glass windows on it behind me. I felt an angry energy behind me through the door. I was thinking, that is strange. What is this feeling of anger and rage? I looked behind me, seeing I looked behind me, turning around, seeing... I looked behind me, turning around to see red orbs behind my door. It scared me. I forgot to mention, this person looked human with rows of fangs showing and wet-looking stringy hair. Wouldn't it scare you if you haven't seen creatures like that since the age of 4 or 5? My mother used to think I was schizophrenic, but I'm not. I have bipolar disorder, but it was just depressed-based and anxiety-based, with a bit of angry outbursts, which I grew out of. Bipolar is a mood disorder. I have ADHD, which is attention deficit hyperactive disorder. PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder. But I am not insane, is what I'm getting at you, so you know. I grabbed my lunch off the counter in the kitchen, running out my back door. What? Yeah. After I saw that thing, I ignored it and went to grab my lunch. So, that's what happened. I grabbed my lunch off the counter in the kitchen, running out of my back door. My dog Oreo at the time. Oreo was barking at me. At the time, she was 6 months old. Oreo is a red Pomeranian Chihuahua mix. She looks red, but when she is groomed, she has red, mainly red with black, white, and gray streaks of color deep in her fur. She has the same colors on her tail, but with a big black blotch on her tail. Her tail curls behind her back. She has dark brown eyes that look black, a black nose, and dark nails that are thick. She has a disorder where her anal glands get clogged quickly if untreated. Her ass gets clogged to where it is painful to poop. She also has wheezing spells, because when she was 4 months old, she was stepped on by accident. She blended in with the floor at that home, and my mom did it on accident. Oreo was small at the time, and my mom was holding groceries, so my mom couldn't see her. Oreo almost died, but she survived after she had surgery to take the blood out of her lungs. I still remember my mom holding her as we drove down the street to my vet. As we did, Oreo started to poop on my mom. I was scared she was going to die. I prayed to Jesus, asking him to save Oreo, and Jesus did. Yeah, I'm a little bit religious. I do believe in God and stuff like that. You couldn't tell now that Oreo is small. She is naturally big-chested with a low waist and muscular leg muscles. Continuing on the experiences. That experience, I ran out the door, going to the street, waiting for my bus, feeling worried about what has awoken in me. When young, I could see ghosts, but now I can sense their energy and feelings. I can see them in pictures as well, visions too. All things I can do as of now. Was those red eyes a vision? I shook my head in defiance as the bus arrived. Later that day, I got home from school, going in my room, finding my books and movies lined up from the door in a perfect L shape, going to the side of my bed, stopping at the headboard. I dropped my book bag in shock. I bent over, keeping my knees slightly bent, with my arm supporting me on my thigh. I cannot get on my knees due to them being messed up. My eyes followed how the books lined up. My cross by my window was gone. I gotta shift around, guys. Shift my body around. Oh, fuck. Okay. My cross by my window was gone, with the outline of the cross there from dust. What the fuck? I said as I picked up the first book in the perfect line. Hickburp. My Inuyasha full-color manga. I picked up the first book in the perfect line, which was my Inuyasha full-color manga. I began picking the books up one by one, placing them on my shelf. I then picked up the movies one by one, putting them on their shelf. Okay, I already said that. Sorry, I'm tired and I didn't get sleep and I'm having troubles reading. One movie was on the bed, which was Inuyasha Season 1. The case has several discs and it is a foldable case. It was spread completely out. I folded it back up and put it away. I soon picked up my school bag by my glass windowed bedroom door and placed it on my bed, taking my homework out. I started working on my stupid math homework, and I suck badly at math because I have a learning disability. I couldn't figure it out, so I put it aside and began to write poems in my poem notebook. It grew late after I ate supper with my mom and my brother. Bojack. It's his nickname. I sometimes call him Bubba. He was over spending time with us from his apartment with his dog Princess, but we call her Poopers. I lay down to go to sleep. As I drifted off, I thought maybe I was not dreaming, or I was, but I opened my eyes to a figure kneeling down, with red eyes looking at me. He grinned as he did. I saw things. They were like vampire things. I tried to scream, but I could not do so. I stared at him for what felt like a millennia until I pissed my pants in the dream. I opened my eyes on my side in the dark. I looked around, sitting up, feeling a warm, wet spot in my bed. I got up and turned the light on. I looked in my bed, realizing I had wet the bed. I ran in my mom's room, yelling to my mom and that I pissed the bed, not telling her my experience. She got up, making me take a shower. I had a nightmare, I say. Sleep with me, then, my mom told me. All right, but I'm scared, as I say as I come out of the shower fully clothed. Stray, just come to bed. I have to get up early for work. Yeah, she got up like around every day she got up around 3 a.m. And to this day she still does. At her new work now. So if I'm up all night, I encounter her. But today I did. I put some stuff on her back. Salon pause. Okay, continuing on my experience. I crawled into bed, falling asleep to my mom snoring. Yeah, my mom snores like a freight train. As I woke up that Saturday morning, I walked in my room to grab my Nintendo DS Lite. Feeling uneasy as I grabbed it from the dresser drawer, I quickly grabbed it, running out of my room, almost running into my grandma. My grandma lived with us at the time, and also Angel, her mini dachshund, and my dog Oreo. Whoa, Stray, Grandma laughed. Sorry, Mima, I say. Stray, did you see shadows darting in your room? I swallowed hard, saying, yeah, our house is haunted. I agree. Okay. I'm gonna make this 30-minute video, okay? This one's chapter 2 of the experiences. The one that says about the author was a summary of me. So, this one's called Hand Through Glass. The next night, my brother Bubba, or Bojack, came to our home for a visit yet again. He likes to see my mom a lot. He also loves her shepherd's pie. That is our favorite dish she makes for us. And that night we ate shepherd's pie with corn on the side of the plate. The shepherd's pie has hamburger meat on the bottom, browned to perfection, tomatoes on the second layer, cut green beans on the third layer, mashed potatoes on the fourth layer, and melted cheese on top of the mashed potatoes. And you can also add onions on the second layer, celery, whatever vegetable you want, green peppers, whatever. We've made it that way too. So, my mother cooked the meat before she put it in the bottom layer. My mother puts the rest in the the order I had explained, and baked it for a bit. Poof! Shepherd's pie. My brother and I never got along back then. We still don't. Kinda. Sometimes we still fight as bad as we did back then. The whole dinner we had fought, cursing at each other like cats and dogs, calling each other's name that would make a very religious person vomit. My whole family in Kansas, even me, the stray, we cursed like sailors. My mother had to take my brother home after he had a seizure from our fight. My brother has seizures. They think it is stress related, but I think they are real seizures. I can sense when he is about to have them. Since I am, I say sensitive or medium, but since I have gifts. I have future telling dreams, and like I said, it explains it. I explain myself a lot over. I repeat shit, so even when I write, I repeat shit because I forget what I write last chapter. So I sometimes have dreams he has them, and he does that day I have the dream. I am aware of when he has them. I was so mad. I ran in my room, slamming my glass window door, luckily not breaking the glass. I sat on my bed crying. I rarely cry due to the past of my biological father's tormenting child abuse. My mother did not know the beatings were going on when I was of the age of 6 to 9. My mother divorced my biological father when she found out through my therapist. As I sat there, I felt a dark and angry presence again. I sat there crying, weeping, feeling miserable. When I finally calmed down, I wanted a drink of pop or soda. I walked to my bedroom door after 5 minutes of an uncomfortable feeling in my gut. After I sat there after I stopped crying. As I was about to grab the knob, my hand was grabbed by an unseen force and shoved through one of the glass windows. My hand started bleeding, and I noticed glass in my hand where my knuckles were. My grandmother was walking out of her room next door to mine, passing my front door to the kitchen, but she stopped halfway from our rooms a few feet after she heard the sound of breaking glass. She screamed, rushing over to me. She had seen all what happened, screaming for my mom, who just walked through the door in the back of the home. Grandma told Mom what she had witnessed to my hand going through the grass forcefully by an unseen force. But Mom did not believe my grandmother. At the time, she was a skeptic. So my mother had thought I was being suicidal, since in the past I have been, due to my abuse from my biological father, due to my bipolar depression. And when that stuff was going on, me being suicidal was because I was having flashbacks real bad and shit like that from my PTSD, and they didn't know I had PTSD at the time, so I would be freaking out and shit, and back in my past, and I'd had to be hospitalized several hundred times, so yeah, but my PTSD isn't as bad as it used to be back then. And I am not insane, okay, guys? I was suicidal because of the PTSD and the depression mixed in, okay? This time was not the case. I did not cry. I just stared at my hand in awe, bug-eyed. My mother at the time forced me to get in the car and take me to the hospital to get my hand fixed up, for me to get what they called screened, where they say if you're crazy or suicidal. Back then, if they heard my story with what I experienced those weeks, they would put you in the mental hospital. Since I was underage, she can put me in the mental hospital. Since I have been suicidal before with my with my depression and my PTSD. I do not have schizophrenia. I am entirely sane. I have been checked for schizophrenia, and I don't have it. They couldn't find if I was schizophrenic. And my mom has a cousin that is schizophrenic. but I'm not. I used to take bipolar meds. Well, yeah, I still do. But that's just mainly for my mood and my depression. That's it. I take bipolar medicine to keep my depression outbursts stable. Before in the past, I have hallucinated because I was allergic to certain medications. Only due to that, I told them my experiences, which was a big no-no. A big no-no. The doctors, like all doctors in that profession, think it is the patient hallucinating, but that was not the case. They screened me, approving me of booking a room in the mental ward, thinking I was delusional and suicidal as well. So I did my time there. Sorry, I had to itch. I did my time there, working my program, as always. So I can make my mother happy and worry-free, even though I was in fact sane, not insane. I gotta cover my chest because I'm cold. Oop, what'd I do? But by the time I got out and went home, my health started to deteriorate. As the negative, angry energy engulfed me to where I didn't take showers, I barely ate, but did not fall under possession, as if someone or something was protecting me from possession. I was again put back in the mental ward, but this time Mom was worried I was being really suicidal. Yet again, I did my thing working in the program. My mother visited me and said Grandma was seeing shadow figures in the house. She was fearful of the dogs and I. She started to believe my story of what I experienced. I drew the figure I saw in a dream with its red eyes. Let me tell you, I draw anime. People from Japanese anime are cartoons, and the entity looked more human than it was. I had showed it to her. As I did, she became pale, as if she saw it before. Mother said Grandma had actually seen what it looked like when she was sleeping. What happened was my grandma was asleep, and all of a sudden she was woken up, and then she saw it. and she already found a house. My mother moved us as soon as I was out of the mental hospital. Like I said, I need to re-edit some of the chapters, so yeah. There's a lot of errors. My mother moved us as soon as I was out. My mother moved us out as soon as my mother moved us as soon as I was out of the mental hospital. This time I stayed in the mental ward for 2 years. The last time 1 year. The new house was a bit better than the last. It only had one spirit that liked to prank me by scaring me when I showered. By materializing a scary doll's face. Let me tell you, I hate dolls, clowns, spiders, bees, bees and storms. Dolls creep me the fuck out. I think they are possessed. I know dolls and certain objects can become possessed. Incubus encounters started to occur when I turned 15 or 16. When we moved from the latest house after the house with the red-eyed ghost or demon. The house with a prankster ghost is the one I moved from due to the cracked sewer lines. The new house was at the end of the whole huge block. The sewer lines were no better, since the sewage backed up in this pit beside our home. The landlord was female and old. In fact, my brother called her Leatherface. Because my brother's a comedian. The old woman was a total bitch and would not fix things. She actually got mad at my mother for calling Roto-Rooter several times to fix her sewage tank and keep it from backing up. The toilet had a piece of wood keeping the toilet down on our floor. The toilet was screwed in on the wooden plank to the tile floor. It was poorly done. The landlord said we flushed tampons in the toilet. My mom taught me how to use pads. My side of the family has feminine problems, so we cannot use tampons. While my mom and I stayed at that home for 2 years, I started to notice the energy in the home was perverse, like there was a sexual energy in the air. My room used to be a garage. I mean, a very tiny garage for storage. It had a door, and the door led to a fenced-in yard. We could not have pets at all, so my dog Oreo stayed with my grandma and grandpa in the country. I noticed when I would lay in bed that I would feel electricity go through my legs, my thighs, legs, and breasts. But my hair on my arms would not stand up with my gifts. I produce my own energy, so if a spirit touches me, sometimes, not always, will my hair stand on end. But when my hair does stand up, the spirit's energy engulfs my energy, making my head feel heavy sometimes, but goes away in a few minutes. That's when the sexual dreams started. At first, I would dream this dream several times. It was based off the Nintendo GameCube Luigi's Mansion game. The evil baby's room always freaked me out. The dream would start off with me walking to the evil baby's room and walk into it. As soon as I get by the wooden baby bed, I would be pulled by my feet and hoisted upside down. My pants and panties would be torn off, then my shirt. My legs would be forcibly spread out, and I would feel a bit firm, a man's private, pierce my private deeply, and I would be brutally raped over and over. This dream would occur several times in that 2-year stay to where I could not sleep well. I was soon put on sleep medication to help me sleep. I am currently on sleep medication. I was diagnosed with chronic insomnia, which runs on my biological father's side of the family. I soon quit high school in my junior year due to my chronic migraines and severe bullying I endured. I lived with my grandma for a bit. The time I lived with her when she moved back to my hometown, I would have outbursts from my beatings I took from my biological father and severe flashbacks to where I black out and harm people. One given afternoon, I had an episode like this and pushed my grandmother when I blacked out. Our neighbors called the police on me, and I was sent to jail for assault. I did not recall what happened until Grandma told me. She felt bad about me being in jail and bailed me out. I could not be around her for several weeks. When I came in front of the judge, she did not want to press charges, so I was free to go. I got me an apartment close to the train track after that. Close to the train tracks to where when the train passed, it shook my humble abode. While I stayed there, I felt two energies, a gentle one and the sexual energy one. When I cooked, that gentle energy would embrace me in a hug, which felt comforting. It would pinch my bum and play with my hair. It would kiss my cheek when I would go to bed. We will call this guy Zane. My friend Zane, who I met at a mall, was a medium who can see ghosts. He says I have 3 entities attached to me: a Civil War Confederate soldier, an incubus demon, and an Apache Native American. The Civil War soldier's name was Warren Miller. He has shoulder-length blonde hair, a slight beard, and blue eyes. He wears a white tank top, gray Civil War pants, black boots. The incubus is called, I have to say his real name because it's part of the chapter, Lorenzo, and the Apache won't tell me his name. At the time I didn't know his name, now I know his name is Joseph. Zane tells me I am Warren's wife reincarnated, which shocked me. I never knew my energy that I could put out, since I cannot control my abilities, attracted these entities. Even now, I'm sorry guys, I gotta get a drink, my throat's dry. Wait, that's empty. Okay, let me get a drink of water in a minute. Okay. I get dry mouth really bad from my medicine, so even now I cannot control my gifts. I do not know how. My first experience was, I am gonna correct myself because I need to edit this story. This experience book, it says this was my first experience. This is, 2014, 2015. Here's another experience. We're gonna do the second part of this because it's getting 40 minutes long. And, next video will be chapter 2. I'll see you guys later. By the way, my chapters are really fucking long on certain chapters of my paranormal books. So, do a second part of this chapter we were on. So, see you guys later.